What's up, graphic designers? In this video tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the type tool. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit about the interface. So here I have just a blank open, and I noticed that I can toggle from one tab to another, and here we got this comic that we're going to be adding text to in a minute, and I'm really excited about exploring this narrative with you in a moment. But first, we need to learn how to add text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look on the left side of the screen, and we've got this cool toolbar. At the very bottom, we've got a foreground and background color. I see that the foreground color is black, and that's great. I'm going to drift up, and I see we've got this tool right here that's highlighted. It's the horizontal type tool. And what I'm going to do is simply click once, and I'm going to write Photoshop. Amazing. Every time we write text, we're going to want to click this check to confirm. And I'm going to click the check, and it's good, it's great, it's amazing. If I want to go back and I want to change something to a layer of text or an element, I can simply click on it. And I can see that there's a horizontal line underneath it, and I see this blinking cursor indicating that I can change, let's see, the size of the font. So I'm going to change it from 72 to 24. And I can actually just punch in, all right, 222 and press enter. And then we've increased the size of the font substantially. But I'm going to return this back to 72. That's great. I'm going to press check to confirm. Now, if we wanted to change the font itself, let's take a look at this window right here. This is the layers palette, and I can see that we've got the original background layer, and we've also got this new layer, this Photoshop layer. If we wanted to change the font itself, because the type tool is selected, and because we're on this layer, I can simply change this font from Theus to, let's try Grow Bold. That's a popular one. Or maybe this fun script font. I like that a lot. And so let's review. If we want to add some additional text, you gotta have the type tool selected, and you're gonna left click once. And I'm gonna write 1, and then the number 1 rule of this class, which of course is patience. Amazing. All right, and if we wanted to change the color of the font, what we could do is we could highlight this, and I'm gonna change it from black. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on this little black rectangle up here, and we've got this cool spectrum. And so maybe we want to select this nice lush green. I like that. I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to press check to confirm. Alternatively, because we're on the patience layer, and I can see that when I look at the layers palette, and because the type tool is selected, I can simply go up here and adjust the color using the color picker. That's pretty cool. And so we've got lots of colors to choose from. I'm going to press OK. We want to change the font. Let's do this one more time. We're going to change it like this because we recognize that patience is going to be super important in this class. And for good measure, I'm going to click one more time. I'm going to write 2. And we recognize that the second rule of this class is to work hard. Amazing. I'm going to press check to confirm, and I'm going to go to this comic. So you guys are going to be adding text in a moment. And so how exactly does that work? Does this work again? Well, we're going to go to Google Classroom. We're going to find a comic that really resonates with you. We've got some fun ones to choose from. And I know that we're going to left click the 3 vertical dots where it says more actions. We're going to click open in new window. And then when we do, we're going to click this little download icon. And so it's going to download to the downloads folder, Photoshop. We're going to return to Photoshop. We're going to click file and then open. We're going to find it in the downloads folder. Presumably it's in chronological order. So it should be at the top, and there we go. So there's a few things that I need you to think about as you're approaching this comic, particularly if you're doing this one with me and Mr. Chan. To zoom out, you're going to press Command minus minus, and we can see that there's quite a few panels. To zoom in, we're going to press Command plus plus. And so what I would urge you guys to do is zoom in all the way, or just a little bit, and then you're going to left click the hand. This is the hand tool. And so this will help us pan over different parts of the image by clicking and dragging. And so what we'll do right now is we'll zoom in a tad, and we'll simply pan over. We'll shift out by pressing Command minus. Great. And so what do I know? Well, I know we just learned how to add text. So I'm going to click the type tool. I'm going to click once, and I can see that the font is size 72. So it's going to be super big, and I'm going to write is that what you, and clearly this is not going to work, so I'm going to press Command A. I'm going to change this from 72 to, Let's try 12 and see what happens. And few more final things. If we want to shift this text around on the canvas itself, what you're going to want to do is pull the mouse away from the text just a little bit, and you can see that this black arrow comes up, the move tool comes up, and now when we click and drag, we can move this text around in the page. So instead of Mr. Drost saying this, it's Mr. Chan saying, all right, we're going to have this right here, and I know that what we want is this text to sort of loop back, because if we keep writing, is that what you really think? Question mark. That doesn't look good. This text is bleeding into the dialog bubble. So what we're going to do is you're going to left click after the word you want, and you're going to press enter or return. And what that does is a little bit of a line break. And that looks great. And I want to shift this text down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the mouse away from this text that's in edit mode. And I'm going to drag it down. And when we're done, we're going to click check to confirm. This is amazing. And how does Mr. Chan respond? He says, it sure is. Enter, line break, and then beautiful. And so what I'm going to do, it sure is, let's say, what I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more line break. So it looks a little bit like this. And I can see, and this is going to be the final thing. This is left aligned. Do you guys see that? What I want is this text to be right aligned, meaning I want it to be hugging the right side of this panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click. I'm going to select all of that text, and then I'm going to change this from left align to right align the text. That looks great. I'm going to pull the mouse away. We're going to shift it over. I'm going to press enter. We're going to add some punctuation, and we're going to press check to confirm. You're going to fill in all of these dialog bubbles with a compelling narrative. You're going to save your work by going to File, Save. I lied. You're going to go to File, Save As. And what you're going to do is you're going to write your first name. So I'm going to write Andrew Drost Comic. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. The default format is Photoshop. It's a PSD file. It's a Photoshop file. We do not want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to instead click and we're going to select JPEG from the drop down. So I can see JPEGs right there. We're going to left click. Amazing. We're going to click Save. And we're going to press OK. And when we do, what I know is if we click File Open, for example, and we go back to the Downloads folder, there it is. It says Andrew Drost Comic. It's a JPEG. And I can see when I look in the Layers palette that it's just a single layer. We've got the text that we just added. Cannot wait to see your work. I'm looking for amusing, compelling, serious, or simply silly comics. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.